Let's go, baby. Welcome into the PHNX Rising Podcast. PHNX Rising, go to the coast, Orange County. You know, a little coastal action. They're wearing tanks out there. They're wearing tanks with the little trees, palm trees, all that jazz, but they do the job. It wasn't pretty at times. They made it happen. 1-0 win off a Manuel Arteaga. That was a pretty nice solo goal. I'm going to call what it is. That was a very nice finish, but boom, he gets them on the scoring sheet. Rising holds for the last hour the rest of the way. That is back-to-back wins in the USL Championship for the first time this season, as well as the first clean sheet for Rising, again, in the USL Championship. On the way up, we said that they had to take 3 points from this match, and that's exactly what they did. And I'm Max Simpson. I'm joined by Owain Evans, who I think you might be in like a... Yeah, you might be in like a kitchen or something, man. I hear like plates going or something. I don't know.
It kind of is, to be fair. It kind of is and kind of isn't at the same time.
How we doing, man? How we doing?
Well, we just witnessed the game, didn't we? Phoenix Rising, their first back-to-back league wins of the season.
Yeah, let's go.
It comes off the back of, I think, a first half performance that, look, I know you hinted at it there in the opening that wasn't pretty at times. I think we could, quite frankly, work out a good description of that first half at times in Phoenix Rising by rearranging the letters in the word "this." Will give you a good idea of how they were looking out there. But at the same time, I think what you see in the game as a whole is that Manuel Arteaga comes out with what I will, quite frankly, coin as a centre-forwards goal. The kind of goal that you get when you haven't necessarily had the best of games, and yet at the same time, you get given the opportunity, you battle, manage to shrug someone off, turn around and finish it as coolly as you like, right between the goalkeeper's legs. And Rising hold on from there. I think there's a lot we can break down. We can talk about Phoenix Rising and how they struggled in the first half. We can talk about Orange County and their tactics in the second half and the way they made several tweaks to that, perhaps even too soon at times. And yet, as we come out of it, of course, 3 points for Phoenix Rising. They move up to 6th in the table today.
Yeah, you know, you look at the match as a whole, and it's something where I think if you were going to tell me at halftime, even at the 15, 20-minute mark, that this match was going to end in a Rising victory, even if it was 1-0, whatever, I would have said, I don't know where that's coming from. To be as frank as you said it's rearranging those letters. I don't think you're trying to spell hits. I think you're trying to spell something else perhaps, because let's just say my bet was not hitting at the moment. It ended up hitting. Let's go. But no, it was one of those matches where Rising had a few chances here and there, but as we've seen, they dominate possession, yet it's sporadic. Places are all, the chances are all over the place. And again, Orange County, when they play away from home Phoenix Rising, you see Orange County or whoever the away team is threatening, and they're pushing chances. And you're thinking, is Rocco about to have another stand on his head game? And does he have to in order to escape with a point? And there's a point in there where if he doesn't make that save, where it's going right through, right through almost like they're trying to meg him, where he saves it essentially with his thighs. Man, you're thinking we're down late in the first half, going into halftime, down 1-0, and it's like, here we go again.
Absolutely. I think we talk about Rocco Rios Novo so often on this show. We always talk about how he is keeping Phoenix Rising in there. It feels almost in some ways as though it's a continuation of last year, where you had Ben Lunt, who is continually keeping Phoenix Rising in games, especially for a Phoenix Rising team that is struggling, I think, overall still in terms of chance creation, still struggling in terms of converting on multiple occasions in a game. I mean, we saw tonight, they scored 1 goal. Quite frankly, there were maybe a couple of other chances that they could or should have put away. But I don't think that overall it was this incredibly dominant performance. And yet they kept in this consistently by Rocco Rios Novo in the goal, making the stops. And when you've got that kind of guy in the back, it gives you so many opportunities that you just otherwise would not have.
Yeah, it's something where I even put out there, right, that I think, especially in the first half, especially within the first 30 minutes, he was having an uncharacteristically bad distribution game with his feet. Something where I think some of the passes were wayward. Some of the touches where, there was one where it didn't, really lead to any real danger, but it goes past his feet. And you're thinking there's a lack of sharpness. I didn't see anything on the pitch, so I didn't think it was anything due to that. Maybe it's just whatever it is. But my word, whatever lack of cohesion he had with his feet early on more than made up with it with saves. And just to your point, the man is dominant. And he, for a guy of his stature, he looks so big in goal, and he owns that box.
Absolutely. I mean, we expressed that concern at the start of the season, didn't we? We stood around, and a lot of people were talking about this. I think, on social media, we were talking about on the podcast. What is it like when you have a goalkeeper who's a smaller guy, generally, who is going to ultimately need to keep them in games? I think, and he's just done a fantastic job of that. Now, you know what? We should we move on? I think a bit from our thoughts onto somebody else's thoughts, someone whose thoughts maybe matter a little bit more.
Let's do it.
Let's start with Juan Guerra's first thoughts coming off of that game.
I'm happy for the players. I'm happy for supporters. It was important to make sure that we could win 2 games in a row, and this was not an easy game. The teams are going to come over here and they're going to start dropping points. I think little by little Orange County is finding their form, is finding their way. The way we want to play, and also the way they play and their identity, it's hard. It makes it hard for us. How compact they are, how much they wait for you on that very organized low to middle block, and then how quickly they can go into transition. So I think we dealt well with many phases of the game. I still think we have to keep improving. We have to be better. The reality tonight is that we're happy we got 3 points, but we need to keep working. There's a lot of room for improvement.
I mean, man, he says it well. Kind of a tough start, kind of same thing along the lines of what we're saying, but there's room for improvement. But I think this is one of those matches where you don't have everything. It's easy to beat a team or you have a result where everything's going for and you're clicking early. This is one of those where they kind of found this in a way seemingly out of nowhere, and they had to create their own momentum because, like we said, there was a time where there's a very real possibility you go down 1-0 to the worst team in the West very early on. And
hang on.
Yes.
Clarification, please.
Of course.
Las Vegas Lights.
Okay, thank you. Fair, based on the results. Okay, I get that. Understandable. But regardless, you're facing a bottom dweller. You're a bottom feeder, whatever you want to call it. Yeah, not good. Not good. We've said it many times during the week. Doesn't matter necessarily where they're at. But, it's something where you have to scrap and claw, and they did it seemingly with nothing. Even out of halftime, it wasn't incredibly flip the script, but we have seen it time and time again. This team, I don't know how it happens, and it's not always this case where they find a win, but they have seemingly found results coming out of the second half where they seem to start a little bit better than the first half more often than not.
I think that's become a pattern, hasn't it? I know it's something that Juan has expressed some concern about in the past, in the fact that this team still is at times struggling to put in a complete 90-minute performance.
Yeah.
And I think that's something that we saw at the start of the game today. I think it's also something we saw at the end of the game today at times. I feel as though PHNX Rising later in the game also invited a lot of pressure from Orange County, invited them to almost try and find a way back into this match. And yet at the same time, they do enough. Now, it's enough, and we need to be clear here. I know Juan at the end of the game is being complimentary about Orange County. We need to be clear about the fact that this team is, of course, where they are in the West. PHNX Rising does have to improve. I think this performance overall would not get results against, as you look further forward, you look at some of the teams that are coming up further down the line. You look at Pittsburgh Riverhands, you look at Louisville, you even look at Oakland, who've been really grinding out some results in recent weeks. And this kind of a performance won't do enough. But at the same time, I think just taking the confidence out of what is a second league win in a row, the first time they've managed to do that so far this season, that's the big thing to take from this game. And I think that's ultimately going to be the main takeaway, I think, for all of us.
Yeah, 100%. I mean, I think either one, whether it is that second consecutive victory in a row coming not till May within the season, keep building that momentum, or the clean sheet. I mean, to me, I think the clean sheet, given how we have seen some dominant defensive performances, how we have seen Rocco Rios Novo stand on his head, the fact that it's taken this long to record a clean sheet, it's honestly pretty surprising. And even the second one all season, if you factor in the 1-0 US Open Cup win against Greenville Triumph. So it's not like there's a lot hidden in there. It is pretty pretty fascinating, but hey, we will absolutely take it. I also want to shout out everyone in the chat, by the way. Love an active chat, especially with a match like this. Shout out everyone who is in here. Mikey, Albert put it really well, to use an Espoism, which that's actually a nice phrase. This one was a Buscemi. Yeah, it was definitely something where it got the job done, but my word, it wasn't pretty. Scott with the Carlos Harvey emphatically. Let's go, Tyler. My rock is always Lambert. Always. And, Mikey with a bit of the reassurance of, Lambert's a dancer, reggae boys, enforcer. You can play him anywhere. A lot of standout performances throughout the night. Real, like some guys who kind of rose their level where we hadn't seen them as consistently over the couple weeks, rose to the occasion.
So are you going to give us the player of the game then, Max?
It's kind of a nice segue. I'm actually,
I don't know who he's picked.
Here. What's that? Yeah, no, I did pick, it's a guy who, I think he was the only one really getting something going in the first half. This might be a bit of an unconventional one. I'm going to get to Eddie Monjoma. Eddie Monjoma is our man of the match. Guy had 2 shots, 90% passing accuracy, 2 dribbles. The other thing that, is worth highlighting in here is he really was just solid in that final third. He led the team in pass accuracy. He also had a 100% pass percentage in the final third. And not only that, but he was a bit of a safety net, which something I didn't really factor in from him. He was the only starter that lost possession the least number of times on any of the starting 11. That even includes the defense and Rocco. It's something where I think we see this guy improve match after match, given this opportunity. And I like to see the effort rewarded. Definitely not a guy, right? He didn't get on the stat sheet in an official way. But I think when you needed the spark in the first half, and even though it didn't come, he was the one guy where it's like, okay, see a shot from distance. Oh, trying something. That is what I keep hammering home, what you echo on in these shows of this team needs to break out of the offensive rut by trying things and getting creative with it, not being afraid to make mistakes. And he was the one guy doing that in the first half. He
was. I think that, look, I tweeted it in the first half myself. I could see that Eddie Monjoma was creating chances. He was running at the fence, creating spark, taking shots at times. I think that's something that PHNX Rising at times were not doing. You saw, I think, Carlos Harvey a few times in the first half playing in that new role. To me, at times, he was trying to do too much. He's trying to look for the extra pass. He's trying to find a way to pass it into somebody else instead of just taking it on himself. When you're the attacking 100%. Midfielder in that kind of a position, you have to take some of those on yourself. You either have to run at the defense yourself, or you just have to shoot, even if it's from distance. Sometimes just looking for the pass to a teammate that isn't really looking to receive a pass, that isn't really making the correct run at that moment. Yeah. That's a bit different. And I wonder if part of that is him adjusting to it. I know that Juan said, look, it's not easy. It isn't easy when you trying to adapt to that kind of thing and adapt to the way they're playing up there. But yes, Eddie Monjoma by far, I think, in the first half was the only real guy, I guess, giving you a little bit of hope on a PHNX Rising side. They were going to create something. Yeah, no, 100%. I think, this team has seen stretches where you're seeing 10, 15 minutes of pressure, of kind of sparks flying, and that's what really jumpstart them. And then this was one of those matches where you didn't really see that going on until much later in the match. And if you're going to have someone ignite it, it's got to be someone who's stepping up. A bit of an unconventional guy, kind of seeing a lot of the big names on this team, especially with some guys who are out, who we've mentioned before, Emilio Cuello, Gabby Torres, Uzo, like lots of guys who we've seen step into those roles. So to have him come out, have this type of performance, who's just steady. I think that's the big thing, is like steady, both sides of the game. Gotta love it. Got the shots in there as well. And actually, I got to do it, man. It is the victory shot out of the toilet bowl. We're flushing this one down in a positive way. Max, why you
you know it, baby. I haven't done an away shot in a while. It's been a while for a victory. Let's go, tequila. Here we go. Bottoms up. That's good stuff. But it was a solid performance. And let's actually get into the stats for tonight's match. Rising win 1-0, as we all know. XG was actually a bit more on OC side. I mean, right, like we're saying, man, there was a couple times where they had those clear-cut opportunities. I don't know how there was one within the 6-yard box that got pretty much over the entire goal. So I don't know how those opportunities kind of fell by the wayside for Orange County, but hey, Rising's better for it. Possession, of course, Rising dominating yet again. Surprise, surprise, 57 to 43%. Shots, Orange County dominating, almost 2-1 for Rising in shots, 8 shots for Rising, 15 for Orange County, and then shots on goal, 3 on goal for Rising, 4 for Orange County. Orange County was, I think they had a couple chances here and there, but really it was a bit of, I would say, last-ditch defending from a back line who actually did pretty well today, given all those shots.
Yeah, I think that ultimately a lot of the chances they were restricting them to, I think the 15 and the 4 kind of tells you about what kind of chances they were giving up there on times. Yes, some of them I think Orange County should, quite frankly, have threatened Rising's goal a lot more with. However, the others, Rising's defense was ultimately holding them to bad shots.
Yep.
And that's why actually when you look at that XG, it's quite low, despite the sheer number of shots that they took there. And the reason for that is because Rising's defenders are holding them to bad shots. They're holding them to bad opportunities. And I think when you are in a position in the league that Orange County are at the moment, those kind of shots don't tend to fall for you. I mean, they don't have, yes, Milan Orlowski is a cut above player-wise, but I don't know who else necessarily in there is going to bury the improbable, let's say.
Yeah, I mean, I don't even think, former Reno 1860 FC player Sam Kasickley or Brent Richards. No, I don't think they were going to step up either. It was, gotta get the bingo in there. No, it was something where kind of one-way traffic, man. After the goal was scored, I think you saw a couple of chances pushing from Orange County, but it was weird because after that goal scores and you're just kind of holding on that point, Rising made some pushes. It was actually a bit more of a response, and I think the thing that was big from this match that we hadn't always seen is after Rising scores, especially if they score the first goal, which this season has rarely been the case. Are they going to concede? And a lot of the times it's not a matter of if, but when. And I got to say, man, it was some nerving moments. They did it though. They were able to kind of do it together.
Yeah.
Oh man, I was gonna say I know a bit of it right with some of the adjustments in the game. I think on both sides there definitely saw some kind of interesting figures going on in there. But I heard that you got a chance to talk to Juan about that as well.
Yeah, so let's talk a little bit about that. It's about the kind of way that they were adapting to Orange County. I think something that we saw from Orange County, they came out in the first half. They come out with 4 at the back. They come out in the second half, still 4, but they make the subs early. They end up switching to 5 at the back in about 65th minute. They concede the goal, and suddenly you have to try and work your way out of that. They go back to a 4 at the back. So here's what Juan said about adapting to those kind of tactical changes that the opposition were throwing out there.
So first half it was a back 4, then the second half they start playing with a 4, but then they make some substitutions. They change to a back 5. That's the importance of us and still keep building and keep adding to our game model and to our identity. It's for the players on the field to understand what they need to do in every phase of the game, but also what they need to do when the opposition can change and transform. Can we change and transform as well on the field and don't drop performance? That's key. And today we saw that we were pressing in a 4-4-2. We finished the game pressing in a 5-4-1. So the team is now adapting to different things. We're building with a back 3. At moments we're building with a back 4, dropping a midfielder or adding Rocco. So that little transformation within the game, it's important. And it's also important that we can make it quickly. And not just us on the sideline telling the players. Now the players reading and understanding those moments of the game too.
Yeah, so I think that's something to note here. I'd say, actually, and this is from my perspective, I know we spoke about this actually in midweek, and we spoke about the fact that you don't expect necessarily a team at home to almost end up playing for the draw. And you definitely don't expect it after the fact that I think they had the better of the first half. And yet what we saw from Orange County is that 65th minute, that's a very negative change to make at 0-0 at home. Yeah. Against the team that, in the nicest possible way, PHNX Rising has not been a big hitter in this conference this season. And so to make that change at the change that they did, to me, is a massive mistake. And I think it actually costs them a bit. I think that it sets them up in a position where once they concede the goal, they are too busy then reacting to what Phoenix Rising are doing. They don't get the opportunity to kind of dictate how they want things to go. They have to react at that point to the fact that they are losing. They have to make those adjustments at a time when they have minimal opportunity to make those adjustments. And I think that costs Orange County. I think it's a massive, massive mistake. And quite frankly, I don't think it's one that you should be doing at home.
Yeah. No, I think it's a weird one for them, because I think when you have them fans and knowing your record, knowing what it is, you need to take the momentum where you can get it. And I think the fact that after they were owning the first half, they were the better team in the first half for, if I'd argue for sure the majority, but if not large stretches of it, I don't get how you don't try to take the forefront of everything. Even after Rising score, you can be back in that match. There's still chances. I don't like the reactive nature, but again, it served Rising well. It was something that I think was just trying to bubble up for Orange County and try to find a goal. But speaking of things bubbling up, man, our friends at Four Peaks, they always got stuff bubbling up, especially after they go out at the tap. They got all the delicious beverages, of course, the Sun's Brew, the Kill Lifter, the Wow Wheat, the Hazy IPA, all that good jazz. And if you guys like a little D-backs action, those of you baseball fans, check out their Four Peaks 4 seats. One Lucky winner will get 4 seats to an upcoming Diamondbacks game. Tickets come with D-Bucks. That's like D-Bucks for the D-backs. Pretty clever. I didn't even come up with that one, but that's just what they're offering for this package. So you can go grab some food, some ice cold Wow Wheats, Hot Knots, all that stuff. Enter to win by going to @4peaksbrew on Instagram. Again, that's @4peaksbrew on Instagram. Again, the link will be in their bio @4peaksbrew on Instagram. So check them out. All kinds of good stuff if you guys like the old baseball. And we appreciate our friends at Four Peaks for supporting us and what we got going on. And, I know you guys are big fans of the beer game, the connoisseurs of that as well. But maybe tonight's a little OG's night. And I was certainly saying OGs a couple times during this match, as one does, especially after those near chances by Orange County. Pretty tough there. But hey, you guys want to calm down or ride into the sunset after a victory like this? Woo, let's get it. You can go to ogsbrands.com to find them at the dispensary near you. They have everything, man. The happy balance of strawberries and cream. They got their new mixed bags with the fruits, the creams. Again, the creams, my personal favorite. They got the orange creamsicle. And of course, our great friends, the peaches and cream. Let's go. And the pink lemonade coming out on June 21st. Let's go. We love our friends at OG's Brands. Check out all the amazing stuff they got going on. Again, ogsbrands.com. Must be 21 years or older to enjoy responsibly. Check them out. I know you guys love them. They got all the good stuff. Buddy.
All right. Before we move on, what? I'm gonna. We kind of progressed a little bit beyond some of this, so I feel like there's a couple of things in the first half that we do need to address.
Sure.
Number one, actually, we did hear from Juan about the first half and where he thinks it went wrong. So we should probably add that in for a little bit of context here. So let's listen to what Juan had to say about their struggles in the first half.
Yeah, I think the first 20 minutes, it was hard for us to find the rhythm of the game. Easy mistakes and turnovers and build-up moments that little by little cost you a bit of a lack of confidence. And when you're playing an away match and you want to build out of the back, you need to have a lot of confidence and you need to be brave. So those little mistakes that were things that we just had to simplify and be more simple in the way we're building out were costing us unnecessary turnovers. So that was building momentum on them. We got in at halftime. We talked to them. We told them what we saw and the importance for them to understand that we need to keep playing the way that we believe in. And if we keep pushing forward, the spaces were going to come. And I was pleased. I was happy with the second half. But like I said to you, I still think there's a lot of room for improvement.
I will say the other thing that I want to add in here about the first half, and this is where, we haven't touched on it, we really have to, is the penalty shout that Orange County actually had in the first half. Now, Max, I want to know what you think here.
No. Not
for what reason? You can't just say no. You've got to actually, let's talk a little bit about it. Okay, so it comes in, it bounces up a little bit with Darnell King. His arm is probably out about here for those of you who aren't where when it actually strikes you, if you're not looking on the video, you're listening via audio, it's probably, I'd say, about shoulder and it's out. Okay, shoulder height and it's out, and it does strike the arm. Max, I need you to actually give me a reason. Okay, I understand that, right? As a nice Premier League plastic fan, there you don't pay attention to things such as the laws of the game. But I did give you a book, Laws of the Game, Max. I need you to explain to me here why is it not, in your opinion, a penalty kick?
Okay,
I'm putting you on the spot.
Gosh, I love being roasted by a ref on our podcast. Gosh darn it. Yeah, no, the reason to me why I do not believe it was a pen is the argument they were making on the broadcast was it was within the sleeve area. Again, I could not get the best look of it, but let's say it was in the sleeve area. The way that he extended with it, it seemed like it was still within the frame of the body and the relatively natural position of like, hey, my arms are going up. They're still not outward. It didn't strike a super unnatural position, supernatural, like he's a freaking something from the 1400s or something. No, but I don't know. All I'm saying is I don't think it struck in a weird way. It was a natural motion, and it didn't seem like it was super far outside of the arms. You know what I mean? Like super outside the arms. For those of you, a little look on the biceps there. Hey-o. No, that's kind of what my thought. I don't think it was anything super crazy.
Okay, so just to be clear here, and no, I'm not saying I disagree with you. Also, I'm going to just correct Tyler here in the chat saying that I'm not a ref. Actually, I am. So just to be clear on this one. So just to be clear on I know there were some people who were talking. You mentioned then on the broadcast about the contact with where it is on the arm. To be clear here, so the positions that we consider a handball, you need to have your arms down like this.
Yeah.
Then we're going to draw a line from the base of the armpit straight across. Anything above that point is the shoulder. Anything below that point is the arm. So it doesn't have anything to do with the sleeves.
Okay.
Is the critical thing that I'd point out there. The other thing I'll say, and I understand where you're going with this with the natural position thing. The current wording around it is that it must be in a position that is justifiable by the action that the player is taking at that time. So the classic example of that we'd give would be that as a player goes sliding in, they're going to have an arm probably down for support. Okay?
Sure.
That's the classic example that we'd often give for what would be considered an action that is just, or a position that is justifiable by the action that's taking place there. The issue I think we've got on that one is it's a very big gray area. I understand the arm. If you see a player going to kind of possess a ball like that, the arm is going to go up. That is how they typically are going to react. That's a fairly normal movement, a fairly normal motion. And so it's one that is ugly. It's not necessarily a penalty. I will say this as the critical thing here, and this is partly on what Juan said, and to be fair, I also agree. There has been so much tinkering in recent years by the IFAB being the board that controls the laws of the game. Okay, it's comprised of the FA, the FAW, the Scottish FA, and the Northern Irish FA, and FIFA. And they have made so many slight tweaks to handball, and it feels in a lot of ways as though it's kind of an attempt to. They want to create something that is objective, and yet you won't get there, while also satisfying people with what handball is or should be. And so I think at this point, as we look at the laws of the game, we need to seriously consider how much do people at this stage know really what is considered a handball offense under the laws of the game, because there's so much gray area. I think people just broadly speaking, so much interpretation goes into it. I think as BJ says, it's like gotten to the point where it's like trying to determine a catch in the NFL. It's like, right, but here's the thing, and here's the thing that's more complicated. The NFL, you've got 32 teams. The laws of the game apply to everyone across the world. Okay? And so interpretation and ensuring uniformity of interpretation is incredibly difficult. I just feel as though in this point, what we're looking at is something that is a massive gray area. I don't think you will get any unanimity among a large enough group of referees of a notable number, at least, at a high level, on what quite constitutes a handball offence in those kind of moments. And so it's difficult. It's difficult. There's no real... It's just very, very hard to define that. Very hard. And so I'm not quite sure which side I come down on. It definitely comes off the arm. To me, that's not a question. I don't think it comes off of the what would be considered the shoulder area under the laws of the game. And yet the question then is the positioning of that arm justifiable by the action he's taking part in at that time? And that, to me, is a very difficult one. Very difficult one.
Yes. Up two very quick points on that, questions that maybe the chat has as well. Number one, I'm trying to remember exactly the positioning of Darnell King when it came off, but I believe his back was facing the ref, so I'm not sure if he got the full view of it. I'm not sure if that changes things. The second being, that is regardless whether it is or isn't, let's say there's a ruling, let's say it is a handball, absolutely gutsy by the ref to not award it within that home crowd, I suppose some might say, but just two points there.
Yeah, I understand that. I will say that it's a different kind of crowd here, I think, to a very aggressive kind of crowd that'll get on his back. I don't think they really got on the referee's back of any real note throughout the entirety of the game.
Yeah, that's fair. That's fair. Okay, well...
It's not San Antonio. San Antonio would have been on his back then. San Antonio complain when San Antonio, their crowd seems to go overboard when the most obvious of things happen.
Certainly.
And are given. So
100%. No, I mean, honestly,
crowd here in that
I especially after the goal, I was hearing nothing but Rising fans in there. So honestly, like shout out the traveling fans as well. Everyone who made it out there, y'all showed up in force. Also, they showed a nice shot of the stands with Rising fans in there, and it was like a good number
showing
there.
So, and the players went over as you'd expect at the final whistle. They go over, they applaud them.
Love that. They
go over, they do the handshakes with everyone.
Yeah,
it's a good high fives. Yeah, it was a good crowd there. The players recognized, I think, the support that they came with, and let's be real, everyone in red today is going home happy. Or in white. They wore the white kits today.
They did wear the white kits. And then I saw Bill. I heard Bill Krause went over, everything like that.
Quite a few. Bill Krause.
Yeah, there you go.
Brandon McCarthy.
Yeah, man.
Yeah.
Man, I freaking love that. There's a couple directions we can go with this. Do we want to talk further about the goal, or do we want to say that for the week? Because there's a wrinkle we can put on it. You let me know.
Give me the wrinkle. I want to hear
the wrinkle is we can spend more time talking about that goal was the quintessential Manuel Arteaga experience, all rolled into
the Manuel Arteaga experience.
Yeah, it really is. So I could spend some more time on it. We could we'll do this. We're going to briefly talk about it a little bit, and then we can go a little bit more in depth on our show on Monday. Yes. Actually, you're not going to be there, but I will go more in depth. That's right. Yeah. Spoiler there. I will
be missing Monday's show. Yes, you'll have a different guest on, I believe, at that time.
We will. No, I think that goal was something where just the nature of it, right? It was something where, first off, the passing leading up to it, a bit of just right at the over the top, where we have seen, for whatever reason, those over the top balls have really helped this team, whether it's crosses, whether it's a more vertical one that was played in. I really think that those can be a bit of utilizing the half space, comes from Renzo Zambrano into Manuel Arteaga. And I think the touch that he has from it, it's very tough to do, holds off the defender. And then I think just the finish, that was something where
you shouldn't be scoring from that position.
Well, no. Well,
you shouldn't be scoring from that
multiple reasons. The big one being, once you have that turn, it is very easy to shoot right away. And it might have helped your angle a bit better, but I mean, for whatever reason, holds it a bit longer. Meg's the keeper, if I saw that correctly, and just what a finish. Honestly, if you close my eyes and said that, like you described the goal, that's doesn't seem like a Manuel Arteaga goal to me, but he did it, man. It was fascinating.
As I said at the top of the show, centre forward's goal.
It was.
Okay, he didn't necessarily do enough, I think, throughout the entire 90 minutes for my liking at times. I think there was some deficiencies in what he was doing. At the same time, he gets given a chance and he takes it. He buries it. He finishes fantastically. And not just the finish, of course. I think we do have to give credit to just the play that he showed there to even create the shot. You know, I mean, he's got his back to goal at the one point and manages to shrug off a defender and get around to a very awkward angle and still tuck it away. Look, the thing about being a centre forward in a lot of ways is you are judged fundamentally on the goals that you score. And so when you score a goal in a game and you get to a point where you're scoring in a couple of games in a row, people don't ask as many questions, I think, about what you're doing outside of that.
Certainly.
People tend to be a lot more forgiving when you pop up with the goal. I know that we've seen the comments be made before. I know Michael has gotten very aggressive in our chat about this one, about Ronaldo Damas as a perfect example, former Orange County player, of course, down in San Diego. And Michael keeps saying this is a guy who's very wasteful. You're not wrong. He does waste big chances, but he puts a lot of them away as well.
Sure.
And when you do that, you deflect a lot of those questions.
Yeah.
And that's what Manuel Arteaga at the moment has done over these last two games, I think. I don't think they've been his best performances by any stretch. He's still found a way to put the ball in the back of the net.
Yeah. No, 100%. It's a guy where he, if he's put in the right position, can rise to the occasion. I think that's what we've really said a lot of his goal. I mean, listen, as a Sunday League Golden Boot winner myself, I understand about what it means.
Renowned bottler.
Edit that audio part out. From the number 9 position.
Renowned bottler.
From the number 9 position. It's something where you really are all about getting set up in the right position. And we've really seen that's where his strengths and weaknesses are within this game, or it's beholden to getting the right service, being in the right position. That's where the vast majority of his goals have been. I think that's the critique, the critique you were talking to me a bit earlier before we hopped on is like, it's a lot of standing around and waiting for the right ball. Yes, there's some chase down and some movement here and there, but it's far too much reactive in terms of, rather than proactive. And that goal was honestly just the flash of proactivity that we need to see more consistently. But if he's able to get in those types of positions, man, that's really where you can thrive. That's where you can help change the boat. Because here's the thing, and it's a small sample size. I get it from Indy 11. He now already in the season has equaled his goal total from last season.
I think we have to be honest here and say, look, prior to today especially, one of Rising's bigger problems, I feel, in this case, is the fact that they are a team that the forwards, the front three, are typically looking to get involved in the play too deep. And the result of that is that when you've got 3 guys who are all trying to get involved deep, you want some getting involved deep. You can't have all of them. You can't have Fede. You can't have Danny. You can't have Manu all doing that. Because then when they do win the ball back in that deeper position, they're looking for people to play it to, and there's no one up there. Who are you able to feed the ball into in that kind of... That's been a problem for them this season. Now, how they adjust to that, how they adapt to that going forward, and how they ultimately fix that problem, because it goes beyond, I think, just asking the players to, just hang out up top, just goal hang, pretty much. I think it goes a little bit beyond just being that simple, I'll be honest. But I think that it's something that if they can crack that, you have a team that's going to keep moving up the table.
Well, I think it's finding more creative, productive ways to be dangerous. And I think there's only so much momentum you can carry from going at home, scoring there with your fans, or taking guys on the fat. Like, last game we saw that, those goals came from like counters, from counterattacking opportunities, and really just seemingly one-on-one chances that sprouted up either from a mistake or a spontaneous flick on. This one was a moment of creativity that surged from the midfield into the offense. I think it's just being able to, again, come with different types of attacking opportunities, like we started seeing with maybe some of the different crosses, with some of the different off-ball movements. And that's really where this team can further progress, because that's how you don't become static. That's how you don't become one-dimensional. That's how where you can really threaten and have a good time. Speaking of having a good time, well, no. People are saying that that I do have pants on. I want to make that very clear, that people are asking that.
Hang on a minute. What?
They're asking in the chat if I have pants on. I do have pants on. How dare you?
And Jacob, remove him from this, please.
Me? No, I'm telling you.
I don't like where he's taking this.
I'm not taking this anywhere other than I wear pants when I go to Circle K, and I'm grabbing some Polar Pops on my way there, baby. Of course, I'm wearing pants here and at Circle K. Gotta love it, of course, because I'm grabbing Polar Pops, the buy one, get one free, because I'm texting PHNX to 31310 for those buy one, get one free Polar Pops all throughout the valley. Baby, let's go. I know you have one.
I'm glad that you don't. I'm glad that you don't go half dressed to Circle K Max.
Again, yeah. I don't know why people are saying
for you.
Yeah, I don't think I'd be let in, as I shouldn't be. So yeah, I'm going to Circle K fully dressed with my pants on and getting some buy one, get one free Polar Pops. You guys can too as well. Again, text PHNX to 31310 for buy one, get one free Polar Pops. Albert, your rating, it's okay. I appreciate it.
You got a 6 out of 10 earlier. It's going downhill.
It's going downhill. That's okay. But what is going downhill are the prices at Valley Taproom, especially during their happy hours, baby, because they had a happy hour every single day this week. So much good stuff there. We won at trivia. I took home the victory for our team, as I so often do.
Excuse me?
Anyway, we'll edit that out in audio. They always have Trivia Tuesdays at 6:30. This last Wednesday, they had 35% off wine bottles. I had live music on Friday. Today, they had a cornhole tournament starting at 6 p.m. Bing, bang, boom. Already saw some people going to that. Always a good time. Again, the prices are going off and lower at Valley Taproom. So make sure to check them out at Valley Taproom on Instagram and on the 202 in Gilbert in person. That's how you get to experience it all. Devin, is learning under me. It's a nice little apprenticeship we got going on. Damon, looking so promising. I appreciate it as well. I do actually want to shout out, Tyler, and apologies if we did not get to this earlier. You guys sent us a $10 super chat off early on the show. And I believe I want to make this clarification. Tell me if I'm wrong. I believe it's not an ooh, it's an O, as in, when, where the heck are you? Just want to make sure I throw that out there.
It looks like an ooh to me.
No, it's not. Tyler, please.
Okay.
Please hop in here and clarify. But I believe that's O as in Owain, get your arse in here and let's start the pod. But anyway,
Meanwhile, Devin is currently pointing out the fact that he's taller than Max.
That's hearsay. That's hearsay. I'm plenty tall. Speaking of standing tall, right? We got to go to the USL Championship standings to see where.
No more segues for this man, please.
By the way, Tyler, seeing it's for Owain. There you go. Boom, Lord. Yes, but let's see where Rising is in the table. After this victory.
Sixth. They're sixth.
We kind of killed the momentum.
They are on the same points as Colorado Springs in fifth, although PHNX Rising has played a game less than Colorado Springs in fifth. That was one that came up today after the game, and the comment was, how are they in fifth? They've played a game more. The answer is USL pulls its tiebreakers out of its rear every year. We don't know what they're going to do. We vaguely know now, of course. It is, I believe it's head-to-head first, which obviously doesn't apply in this case. Then it is points per game within conference.
Yeah.
So apparently Colorado Springs have the advantage on that one. But should we look at some of the other big results from this weekend?
I'll let you take it away.
All right. Do you want me to read them all, or do you want me to read the big ones?
Let's read the big ones.
Just the big ones. So,
just the big ones.
I would say probably the biggest result in my mind, Detroit City 1, San Antonio 0. I'm told that was an atrocity of a match. If you should wish to watch it, I have to question if there is something wrong with you. But
yeah, that's fair.
Detroit scored on their only shot on target in the entire game. They did so 5 minutes into the match. It then became a delightful game of hoof it forward for both sides. And
it was do you remember on Wednesday when we were asking, who's gonna have the bigger blowout? Sack going or what's it called? Freaking hold on a second. We were gonna say who is gonna have the bigger
from
blowout.
Now on,
Detroit
from
City.
now on.
Yeah.
From now on, right? I'm choosing not to address that one any further. We're going to talk about how Rising are going to get battered every game.
Oh, I see.
You see, we're trying to apply that same logic there.
I see what you did there. I like that. Yeah.
Okay. I'd
also
like to shout out actually though, because this one goes to Jake Anderson, who always loves to point out the fact that Phoenix Rising only ever win in Orange County when he's here. You weren't,
and
here,
when he was
Jake.
wearing a tie, and he was wearing a tie. He broke the streak.
I am. I've got the one here. Here we go.
But you're not like
we got the tie replacing Jake.
Well,
sorry, Jake.
Well,
but you weren't here. You weren't here, Jake, and they still won.
Wow, that's going to be a nice clip. Yeah, they didn't.
He's going to clip that, aren't you?
Oh, I know. He's going to clip that. They didn't. I would say they didn't tie, but also I know you would hate me. Yeah. See, I that's why I didn't say it. Yep, he's going to unplug his mic.
Leaving, going.
That's understandable. No. Yeah. No, man, it was a interesting set of results for sure. Something that I know we will get further into throughout the week. But wow, we've been going for almost 45 minutes. This is a longer post game. It was a nice one. It was a jovial one.
They won.
They won.
They won.
Rising. We said it that Rising. They took the 3 points from Hartford. They took another 3 points from OC. Now it's time to finish this stretch. Take 3 points back at home against a lowly and officially now the bottom dwellers of the West, Las Vegas Lights. It's a good time right now. It's a good time right now. Keep searching.
You know who it's not a good time for?
Oh boy.
Tottenham Hotspur, who are completely irrelevant.
On that note, this has been the PHNX Rising postgame podcast. We really appreciate all of you, and most of you, some of you, for being here. Thank you guys very much. As a heads up for a programming note, we will be back Monday and Wednesday again at 6 for shows. Owain is not going to be joining us on Monday. Oh, darn. So he will be back on Wednesday. We'll be having a special guest on, and we're going to be doing a bit of a state of the Rising season, something a bit more big picture, really kind of taking a look at the Rising season as a whole and expounding a bit on how things have been going, kind of going from there. But yes, join us on Monday at 6 and Wednesday at 6 again. And of course, then you got Friday for the post-match at home against Las Vegas Lights. Dollar Beer Nights, baby. Let's go. But until then, follow everything on Twitter. Again, follow us at PHNX__Rising because Owain double the underscore.
Double the fun.
There you go. Boom.
Double the wins.
Yeah. Yeah, there you go. Yeah, he said into my mic, not his. Maybe both. You can follow Owain on Twitter at OJEvans18. You can follow yours truly at Max David Simpson on Twitter. Appreciate you guys, all of you, so much for being in the comments, for joining us on Twitter, on the Discord, in the chat, everything like that. Until Monday.
In the stands.
In this
here as well. Shout out to the traveling fans.
I shot him out earlier, but we get another double shout out. Shout out again in the stands. Everyone, appreciate you guys. Until we catch you on Monday, have a great weekend and see you then.